Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health Radio and TV. I'm your host, Sara Banta. I'm a health coach, natural supplement expert, and a busy mom of three. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you are notified every week of my new podcasts on Mondays and Tuesdays. And if you haven't already, join the free group coaching on Telegram. There's no downside. You just sit back and learn and ask your questions. I teach you on a daily basis with tips and tools to enhance your health, and you will be a part of a like-minded group to support you on your journey, in addition to truly taking control of your health, especially with the topic today, menopause. How many of you are getting there, or after, and you just don't like the way you feel? We're going to talk about what the average menopause age is, symptoms of estrogen dominance that goes with it, and how can we feel better? I'm 47, just turned 47, and I have to tell you, I feel better than I did when I was 20, when I was in my teens, when I was in my 30s, you name the decade, and I feel my very best at the age of 47 than I ever have. So I want to get you there. Let's get back to menopause. As women enter into their 40s, they start noticing that things aren't the way they used to be. They can't get away with eating what they used to. They are not able to burn the fat they were able to. They might be losing that awesome muscle mass they worked so hard for. They're getting more moody, and maybe their kids and their husbands are telling them they're more moody. And this is related to the transition into perimenopause and menopause. But what's the average age? Typically, menopause is connected to the onset of puberty. The earlier the body experiences puberty, the earlier the body experiences menopause. And with all of the xenoestrogens, birth control, and toxicity in the environment and food, that early onset of puberty is occurring more and more. I was just listening to someone today talk about how it used to be more like 14 and 15 years old, and now it's more like 10 and 11. So are we going to have this next generation going into perimenopause in their 30s and menopause in their mid 40s? Maybe. So this is where we really want to take control of what we are putting in our body, environmental toxins, and all of those things. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the transition, as of now, into menopause often begins between the ages of 45 and 55, and on average, it is 51. And usually those symptoms, menopause usually lasts around 7 years, but for some can last as much as 14. The duration can depend on lifestyle factors, including diet, exercise, smoking, race, and ethnicity, and your genetics. What your mom experienced might be what you're going to experience, but our moms did not have the diets that were so toxic that we have, even if they knew nothing about nutrition. So just something to keep in mind. Facts about perimenopause. This is the time, and I'm in it, that's leading up to the menopause when hormones start to decline. It can begin 8 to 10 years before menopause, when the ovaries gradually produce less estrogen and progesterone. And during that time, the body uses energy differently, meaning the fat cells may increase and the body has a more difficult time burning fat, and you may gain weight more easily. This hormonal shift may also affect bone and heart health and body composition. And I'm going to get into shifting your body composition in the next couple of weeks. So that is something you can do, even in perimenopause and menopause. So Perimenopause lasts up until that menopause age when the ovaries actually stop releasing the eggs. In the last 1 to 2 years of perimenopause, the drop in estrogen quickens, and the body may still have menstrual cycles during that time, and you still, yes, can get pregnant, so be careful. It's interesting with me. I had PCOS during my years that I was really trying to get pregnant and didn't know that PCOS was related to insulin resistance and hormonal issues. All the doctor told me was, let's take some Clomid and get you pregnant. And then fast forward to when I actually knew how to reverse PCOS, knew how to reverse my insulin resistance within a month. I was able to get pregnant, but then I didn't want to get pregnant. So it didn't do me any good except for to share the news with you. Okay, so what is menopause? True menopause occurs when the body stops producing the hormones that cause the menstrual period. So at this point, the ovaries stop releasing the eggs and stop producing most of their estrogen. And menopause can be triggered also by hysterectomy or removal of the uterus or ovaries and not taking hormones. The symptoms of menopause will usually surface immediately. So I have a family member who actually, during her teenage years, had endometriosis, and the doctor's solution to that was to force her into menopause, like a fake menopause. And my mom was going through menopause at the same time. Oh my goodness, the hormones in the house. So that was horrible, as just a bystander who was actually having normal periods. But just something to think about, that this is, she was able to get out of it. Did it correct her endometriosis? No. Was she able to have babies? Yes. But something I don't recommend. Obviously not fun for her at the time as well. What is postmenopause? Postmenopause describes the time after someone has gone through menopause. So the menstrual cycle has been absent for longer than 12 consecutive months, and the body's no longer ovulating. The symptoms usually become milder or go away completely. However, some people do experience those symptoms for 10 years or longer, and the ovaries are making little or both estrogen and progesterone. And this is another thing that we women need to think about, is because our ovaries are essentially dying, our adrenals take over the production of our sex hormones. That means our adrenals are being asked to do this whole nother job that all of our life they weren't doing. So adrenal burnout, which isn't a real thing, but I use the term so that you know what I'm talking about. You can get it much more easily when you're in perimenopause and menopause. So no more chronic cardio. Lift those strong, heavy weights, and you'll burn more body fat too, but you're not going to burn out your adrenals. So what are the signs of menopause? Number one, obviously, is the change in menstrual cycle, and they may become shorter or longer. They may consist of more or less blood. Hot flashes is probably the biggest sign for most people. They may be related to the estrogen levels. It's a sudden feeling of heating up in the upper part of the body. The face and the neck may become flushed, while red blotches may appear on your chest, back, or arms, and they can be accompanied by heavy sweating and then cold shivering. Then you've got sleep problems, mood changes, weight gain, slowed metabolism, vaginal dryness, an urgency to urinate, breast tenderness, weight gain, hair loss, memory and concentration issues, and low libido. This podcast, the men need to hear, because it truly is like you feel trapped in your body, and men have nothing like it that they experience. They go like a book. They change their diet, they change their exercise routine, and they get results. Us women have all of these special little things that go on that we are dealing with, and it has nothing to do with our kids or our husband. We are dealing with trying to manage our feelings that we seamlessly or seemingly have no control over. But I'm going to give you control. So, what are the risks of menopause? As hormones shift and the toxicity of the bad estrogens in the body increase with menopause, the health risks increase, and it's even worse now than ever, more than ever, because of the xenoestrogens in the environment that are backing up our liver. Remember, you got to love your liver, and it's because of this, especially during perimenopause and menopause. We've got to be doing liver flushes 3 to 4 times a year to get these bad estrogens out of the body. Because what happens is we now have a lesser ability to detox during menopause, and this leads to an increase of cancer, especially breast cancer, increased risk of stroke and heart disease, increased risk of candida overgrowth by 18 times more than normal. So that is your UTIs and your bladder infections. Estrogen feeds yeast and candida. So this is something to think about. What else feeds those things? Sugar. So we got to cut the sugar out of our diet. You might see hair loss, fatigue, weight gain, of course, sagging skin. But this also goes into estrogen dominance. And I had a question about estrogen dominance today. So you can have estrogen dominance way before menopause, and so can men, right? That man boobs, enlarged prostates in men, leptin resistance for both men and women, weight gain. The weight gain for women get it around their butts and thighs. Men get it usually around their bellies. But the other signs and symptoms of estrogen dominance is that pelvic pain, the breast tenderness. You've got the hypothyroidism, so a slowing down of metabolism. Too much estrogen can slow down that conversion of the inactive thyroid hormone T4 into the active of T3 in the liver. This is why we need our liver cleaned. So our metabolism for fat and protein and thyroid hormones to increase that metabolism, all of that happens in the liver. Additionally, these excess toxins like to hide in the thyroid receptor sites, the bromide, the chlorine, and the fluoride. So they all look like iodine. T4, T3 stand for tyrosine and 4 and 3 molecules of iodine. So if we don't have enough iodine in our bodies, then what happens? Those halogens, those other estrogens go find those receptor sites, not just in the thyroid, but in all 100 trillion cells in your body, and clog them. And then that toxicity, the excess estrogens increase, and we get all of these symptoms. So then you're also going to have maybe migraines and migraine headaches, bloat, water retention in your hands and feet, constipation, and yes, cancer. So how long do the menopause symptoms last? Well, they can last up to 10 years, but most people experience symptoms for less than 5, and they can be connected to genetics, diet, lifestyle. When does it occur? So as the female body ages, the reproductive cycle begins to slow down and eventually halt. And we are not meant to be fit parents later in life. At 47, I don't want to be running after a 2-year-old right now. I want to be sitting on the couch with my teenagers and having fun, more adult conversations. That's where my energy is. That's where my wisdom comes from, right? But our bodies physically are not meant to have babies later in life. The risk of getting pregnant later in life increases as far as Down syndrome and other diseases. So body, nature, God, all of it is literally making this a natural progression so that you end up doing your parenting and to become pregnant earlier in life. With the way society is now, they're trying to change that with having their eggs frozen so that you can get pregnant later in life. And I know there's always a place for that type of stuff, but that is essentially not what normal body function was intended to do. So the reproductive system has been functioning since puberty, and typically the earlier you start puberty, the earlier you will start menopause. So think back to when you started, and if you were in the 13 to 14-year-old range, you probably are going to have menopause hit around the 51, 52 range. So how can we minimize the menopause symptoms? So first, I really want to emphasize, before I get into the diet and lifestyle, you have to look at what increases the estrogen dominance, because they play together, right? The dirty liver, I've talked about this. The liver's where it's responsible for producing that estrogen binding protein. And when it's dirty, it has a difficult time doing this. And so the liver's also where phase 1, 2, and 3 of estrogen detoxification occurs. So we need our clean liver, and we need to decrease that fatty liver disease that most of us are running around with. If you cannot see your belly button, we need to go after that visceral fat and that fatty liver. Iodine deficiency will increase estrogen dominance. Iodine is used by the endocrine system to regulate estrogen production in men and women, and without it, estrogen dominance will occur. And a study shows that 96% of test subjects in America, and this was years ago, were found to be extremely deficient in iodine. So if you're not taking an iodine supplement, or the proper one like acceleradine, you could be taking an iodine supplement that's toxic, full of radiation, or that your body has an allergic reaction to the other ingredients in the iodine. That's why it's super important to making sure you're taking the right one. Iodine is used to clean the blood so the liver can actually do its job in producing the estrogen binding protein. And it also helps break up fatty liver. And so it has multiple facts. The acceleradine is used by the whole endocrine system. Okay, so what else causes the estrogen dominance? You've got the tap water. Millions of women are consuming birth control and hormone replacement therapy, and those all contain estrogen. When they urinate it out, it goes into our water, and our water treatment plants are not filtering it all the way out. And you've got the sugar. Eating refined sugar, of course, does wreaks havoc on the body in so many ways, with inflammation and causing insulin resistance, but it also robs you of important minerals and produces excess estrogen in the body. And so as that white sugar is consumed, minerals are taken from the body, and then you're not even getting the good nutrients from the food that you're eating with the sugar. Then you've got the conventional meat and the poultry and the dairy. This is why I say you want to focus on that wild animal protein I'll talk about in a little bit. But 90% of the livestock in the United States have estrogen implants in the back of their ears. Why? To make them fatter, so they can get them fatter and feeding you much quicker. Right? So you also can be eating foods that are non-organic, full of pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides. Those contain xenoestrogens, and all of these things are stacking up, backing up your liver. And then you've got improper food combining. So when you combine the wrong foods, you eat them together, the body's unable to digest the meal, and it goes into acute metabolic acidosis, leading to more estrogen in the body. So the rule of thumb is fruit always by itself. I need to listen to that one myself. Protein and vegetables are together great. Starches and vegetables are fine, but don't have that meat and potatoes, or the chicken with the bread, or fish with rice, because the starches and the proteins will result in the food not digesting and increasing estrogen. Just overeating in general will, plastics, parabens, lack of progesterone, of course. So those are some things to think about. Also, just inflammation and oxidative stress are going to slow down phase 3 estrogen detox Soy, a lot of vegans are using soy as their protein source. That is estrogenic, and all soy is GMO. And this mimics estrogen in the body, leading to more estrogen dominance. Consuming GMO foods and all of the grains, those inhibit the phase 2 detox and are inflammatory. And it converts the testosterone into estrogen. So us women, we actually have more testosterone than we do estrogen. We just don't have as much as men. We need that good testosterone. So hormone fixer, I want to make sure I mention that. That is a supplement on my site that you can take to boost your testosterone. And SHBG, I think it changed its name to bedroom fixer because it helps with increasing the SHBG binding. So SHBG binds to usable testosterone. So this will bind to that SHBG, making it so that testosterone will naturally be higher, your free testosterone. So how do we minimize these menopause symptoms other than with reducing all of the things I just mentioned? The acceleradine is your number one supplement. And how ironic is that it is the number one supplement for pregnant women, for men, for babies, for kids. It helps with intellectual growth. It helps with apoptosis, which is the destruction of disease, damaged cells. And apoptosis is also really important during puberty and pregnancy. That is the apoptosis, the change or the growth and the destruction of the disease cells and getting more of the good cells. So acceleradine is the only iodine I know of that is scalar enhanced with frequencies to detox the body of radiation and heavy metals, in addition to feeding your cells, all 100 trillion, not just your thyroid for your metabolism and fat burning, but also all 100 trillion cells to get out the damaged DNA, reverse that damage done by the mRNA and spike protein, get rid of the bad estrogens, get rid of the heavy metals and radiation that cause an estrogen buildup in the body. So acceleradine, acceleradine, acceleradine. Next, the accelerated ancient salt, and this is not just any salt. It's full of 62 minerals enhanced with scalar frequencies to help with nausea. You can just put a little on your tongue if you get nauseous. You can also put it on your tongue or in your water to boost the output during your workout and your energy. But what it does, it helps plump up the volume of fluid inside and outside of the cell, which in turn cleans the liver, induces DNA repair, and detoxes the body of the bad estrogen. It also helps with bile production, leading to optimal fat metabolism. A lot of times women, as they go through menopause, and even just in the last 2 years with the spike protein, we're seeing people have a harder time metabolize fat and protein and get nauseous when they eat. Number one, the nausea is saying, okay, time for a liver flush, but the accelerated ancient salt is going to help with that bile production and help with the metabolism of the fats and the proteins, and you want to keep that liver clean. So there you go with the salt. And accelerated keto, not only does this suppress the appetite so your body can trigger that autophagy, trigger that reduced inflammation throughout the body, cleanse the liver, induce DNA repair, all of those things that your body does when you're fasting, intermittent fasting, you're able to suppress that appetite. So it also helps defat the liver. Unlike any other keto supplement, it's got other ingredients in it to defat the liver on a daily basis, increase metabolism, increase ATP production by at least 5 times, and reverse the hormonal decline. It gives you this amazing energy physically and mentally. So all of the mood issues that you're experiencing, you feel trapped, and your GABA, your serotonin, your dopamine, they feel like they're non-existent during this time, and you just want to hit somebody, right? Well, the accelerated keto makes your problems feel like they're 20 feet away from you instead of smacking you in the face. And this happens because of all of these synergistic ingredients in the accelerated keto that also increase the ketone production, give you that nice steady energy, not a caffeine jittery energy, and there's no crash. You feel great all day. And then you're able to focus on eating the proper foods, cutting out the sugars, eating when you are supposed to, wherever that is for your intermittent fasting timeline. And I go in to when not to fast too long, especially for women, when you need to be on a longer fast, when you can do a one meal a day, when you should only keep your fasting to 12 hours. I go into that on my website, sarabantahealth.com. So check that out. I believe the article is fasting, after 50, something like that. You should be able to find it. So the accelerated keto is your tool to be able to learn how to fast and be able to do it right away. Within day 1 or 2, you are going to be feeling the difference. The X49 patch. This was a game changer for me because last year, 46, always been an athlete. I rode crew. I played volleyball in high school. I've then since always worked out in the mornings, very consistent, and I always strength trained. So muscle was very important to me. I started losing muscle. Kind of freaked me out, not going to lie. But with the X49 patch, I increased my muscle mass, decreased body fat, and I just felt more grounded. So I'm going to say that my bone density increased as well, but it has been shown to help with bone density and cardiovascular health. Bone density and heart health decline are huge risks for women going through menopause. So this helps with bone density, burns body fat, builds muscle, improves cardiovascular health, and it helps with hair growth and combats most of the menopausal hair loss. And a lot of women who have had amazing hair all their lives are now complaining about hair loss, whether it was due to the virus and post-COVID or just menopause. The X49 will help with that, and you wear it during the day. Then you've got the liquid biocell collagen. I've tried thousands, maybe not thousands, all of the ones, all of the collagens on that are the most popular. And I keep going back to the liquid biocell collagen that I carry because it is essentially set up with the hyaluronic acid, the hydrolyzed collagen, and chondroitin sulfate all together the way our body has it. So we take it in and our body says, oh, I recognize that. I'm going to absorb it really well. A lot of collagens are coming from bovine or other sources that our body just doesn't know what to do with. And there's a whole bunch of different types of collagens, and our body needs all of them. This is type 2, which can convert into type 1, 2, and 3 within the body. So it helps with bone loss, hair loss, the saggy skin. All of those are results of a loss of collagen, and our collagen production actually starts to wean in our early 30s. So it doesn't just happen in menopause. Then accelerated thyroid. This has been a game changer, whether you're a teenager or you're in your 70s or you're in perimenopause or menopause. It is the most comprehensive thyroid supplement to help optimize thyroid function. Really, it helps everybody because the thyroid is the master endocrine gland. It controls the adrenals. It helps with the gonads, the ovaries, with men and their gonadal system. It helps with that HPT axis that I talked about last week, which is the hypothalamus pituitary thyroid axis, affects the HPA and the HPG axes, which are the adrenals and the gonadal systems. It combines freeze-dried glandular with Ayurvedic herbs, and only the best quality, And then it's enhanced with scalar frequencies to detox the thyroid from radiation and heavy metals that may worsen with menopause symptoms. And it helps with menopausal weight gain, brain fog, fatigue. You just feel good. Your energy's better. As one client was telling me, I just feel happy all the time. So that is a must. And if you are on thyroid medication, can you take this? Most likely, yes. And I go into that on the website as well. If you're taking a T3 only, that might be the only case where you wouldn't take accelerated thyroid. You definitely would still be taking the acceleradine. If you're taking Armor or another nature thyroid, you definitely can be taking accelerated thyroid. My goal is to get you off your thyroid supplements or thyroid medication with the guidance of your doctor. So that is my goal. Cognoblast. So excited. It is coming. I promise it is coming in February, the end of February. It is a cutting edge natural brain enhancement supplement that increases mental focus, energy, and memory in the short term and protects the brain from memory issues and decline in the long term. And so many of you talk about having brain fog and memory issues in menopause. So this will help reverse that, but it's also going to help prevent Alzheimer's and dementia. And that's why I'm super excited about it. Helps with mood, motivation, and even organ function. So as we age, all of these things are aging with us at a faster decline. So we're actually not just halting that aging, but we're going to try to reverse the aging. Then you've got choline and inositol. Choline and inositol help with phase 2 liver detox, methylation of estrogen, and cell brain support for phase 3 detox. And choline also may help facilitate the burning of stored fat. But it's been shown to prevent abnormal or excess liver accumulation of cholesterol and triglycerides. As we go through menopause, we're not producing the choline. So choline becomes very important to us. It also may help insulin sensitivity and just overall hormonal balance. Then you've got the glutathione patch, and this is going to help detox the bad estrogens that cause menopausal symptoms in addition to increasing immunity. And it is the master antioxidant, also helps increase or helps protect the brain. What I've talked about in the past is that glutathione actually can be a supplement that people use for detoxification. But what happens is it has sulfur. And a lot of us, because of GMOs, because of our genetics, sulfur detoxification pathways are blocked, and glutathione supplements can actually back up the liver. So by doing the patch, you're actually stimulating the body to produce its own glutathione, and it does this by over 300% in just 12 hours. When you're using the X39 patch at the same time, it will increase that glutathione production by over 400%. And this touches on the fact that another supplement that a lot of women use for excess estrogens is DIM. That is including or based on vegetables, including broccoli, cauliflower, bok choy, cabbage, kale. These are all anti-estrogenic. They lower the bad estrogens, and they're in that supplement called DIM, but you'd have to, number one, eat a large amount of those vegetables. So some people take this as the DIM supplement, but it's full of sulfur vegetables. And if you have a backed up liver and if you have a sulfur detoxification issues, then these are actually going to make things worse. So you may not want to be taking DIM. And that goes for sulforaphane as well. Same thing. Now, mushrooms, why would you not want to take those? They're used for estrogen detoxification, but if you have a sensitivity to mold, mushrooms can backfire, causing inflammation, back up the liver, and cause some allergies. So that's something also to think about. Now, you want to prioritize the wild animal protein. As I mentioned, 90% of the livestock animals have the estrogen implants in order to make them fatter faster. So, eating the proteins that are wild, like the bison, the elk, deer, lamb, wild fish, organic eggs, these are going to minimize those amyloid proteins. Also, those amyloid proteins are clogging your brain and causing Alzheimer's and dementia. They can't get broken down in the liver to be used by your muscle tissues in your brain and your hair. All of these things can backfire and then stack up. So really important to prioritize wild animal protein. For you vegans and vegetarians out there, you're not getting the nutrients from our vegetables anymore that you used to. In the 1950s, maybe it was fine, but now we have our vegetables and our soils are 1/50th, 50, the nutrients of what they were in the 1950s. So this is why it's super important to prioritize wild animal protein for getting your nutrients. And then we need to be eliminating the sugar, the refined carbs, the processed foods. These foods not only rob you of those important nutrients, but produce the excess estrogen. And then you're going to lose those important minerals that we want to get in. And you get those minerals from the accelerated ancient salt, the quintessential 0.9, and you can also get it from the wild lights. Those are the good options at sarabantahealth.com. Now, if you have an issue with your gut, which most of you do in leaky gut, you're then going to be recycling the estrogens at the gut level. So you may want to look into the leaky gut bundle, and that includes the Megaspore, Megapre, and the Mega Mucosa. They help heal the gut, improve nutrient absorption, and optimize the phase 3 estrogen detoxification. So if you're not getting the estrogens out from your liver because your liver's backed up, they're going to then go out down into your intestines, right? If you're constipated, then the estrogens are going to be recycled. That's where the Laxa Comfort may come in, or the OxyClear, or the Magnesium Breakthrough. All of those will help with your constipation. But the Megaspore is that spore biotic that has a brain. It's not like a probiotic. It goes down in, survives the intestines, the acids that kill most of your probiotics. You're probably wasting money if you're just getting a regular probiotic, because the other thing is it may be populating way too much of just a few strands, but not giving your gut what it needs. Where the Megaspore is actually getting down in there, opening its eyes and saying, we need more of that, we need more of that, we need less of this. And that's what I'm going to populate this gut with. And then you've got the Megapre that feeds the Megaspore what it needs. And then you've got the Mega Mucosa, which heals the tight junctions, and that leaky gut repairs it. So you repair the estrobolome, which is the estrogen microbiome, and then you're able to absorb all the nutrients you're getting in from the gut. You can also incorporate berberine HCl, which berberine helps reduce inflammation, oxidative stress, lowers your glucose levels. So most of you are walking around with undiagnosed diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or insulin resistance. Berberine helps lower that blood sugar. So instead of the spike going up and down from the carbs and sugar, the berberine will help it go like this. And what does that do? That's going to help with your fat burning. It's going to help with your glucose utilization. I also talk about this when I talked about the fad of non-diabetics using obesity drugs for weight loss. Just take some berberine, some accelerated keto, and the accelerated thyroid and the acceleradine, and much cheaper, by the way, than the drug that I believe costs about $1,000 a month. You're going to get the weight loss. You're going to cleanse your liver, boost your metabolism, and it's cumulative, and you're healing your whole body feeling great day one on these supplements. Your energy is much better. Whereas on the drug, people are getting nauseous, throwing up, vomiting, but they're saying, oh, well, as long as I lose weight, it's okay. I'm sorry, I don't want to live my life like that. And there are side effect and risks. And the long-term risks aren't even discovered yet. So that's something to think about. Calcium D-glucarate. This is a specific form of calcium that binds up the estrogen in the gut. So instead of using the DIM supplement to help with the liver detoxification of the estrogen, and it may or may not work for you, the calcium D-glucarate is going after that estrogen in the gut. So by healing the gut with the leaky gut bundle, taking the calcium D-glucarate to bind up the estrogen, and then making sure you're going to the bathroom 2 to 3 bowel movements a day. And if you're sitting there going, well, I just, what's normal for me is to go have 1 bowel movement every 3 days. That is not normal. Back to your pregnancy days. Remember those babies when they first came out, they eat and poop. They eat and poop. That is what the human body's meant to do. So you want to make sure you're going to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a day, and you can use the Laxa Comfort, the Magnesium Breakthrough, or the OxyClear, or a combination, depending how stopped up you are, to get yourself going to the bathroom. So then you can also use the X39 patch, which is going to essentially help your detoxification as if you were your younger version of yourself, right? We're able to detox much easier when we're 20 than when we are 50, 60, or 70. So the X39 is literally helping our body reverse aging. And then you've got the energy enhancer. By the way, I go through these protocols in order of importance. So if this is overwhelming, just start with the first few steps that I mentioned. But the energy enhancer patch increases cellular health, improves detoxification, allows the toxins to pass through the cell walls very easily. So you've got something called phase angle. And Heather Hineker at Ascent Adaptation and I talk about phase angle of the cells a lot because she has an InBody that actually can measure the phase angle of your cells. That is telling you the risk of cancer, the risk of disease, because essentially it's telling you how well can your body get rid of the toxins at the cellular level and soak up the nutrients in the cells. Because all of the nutrients do us no good if they can't get in the cell. So we want that rigidity to be reversed and improve the permeability of the cell wall. So the energy enhancer really helps with that as well. And so I also love it because it supports digestion, increases caloric burn by 300 calories a day on an average, of course, increases circulation, and helps with digestion. You can wear them on your wrists, under your feet, on your abdominal area for digestion. Lots of different options. I love them. I really feel the difference. I have been, like I said, trying to heal my body ever since I hit my rock bottom, ever since my son had leukemia at the age of 9, reversing my kids, my other daughter's anemia, asthma, allergies, my husband's heart issues, his normal hormonal decline as he ages and reversing that, and brain issues with my other daughter as far as learning issues, and all 3 of my kids athletes. I can tell you that my morning workout today rivaled what I did during high school. And the only reason it can do that is because of these protocols and the diet, the sleep. I went into sleep a little bit last week. Sleep is paramount. You have to be getting that 7 to 9 hours of sleep. If you missed my podcast with Matt Gallant, we talk about supplements for sleep. And at the very end, the last 10 minutes of the podcast, I go into my sleep protocol. I am getting a score on my Aura Ring of 92 to 97 every single night because of that protocol. And if you're not sleeping, all of this other stuff doesn't mean a thing. So that is step number one. So definitely go back to that podcast and listen to my protocol if you're not sleeping. And then you can start incorporating this other stuff. That's also sleep is when our bodies are doing most of the detoxification. So really important to make sure you're getting your sleep. So there you go. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly and I can help you with your health issues by contacting me through sarabantahealth.com. Happy to put together a protocol that's just for you and join the free group coaching. It's with the Telegram link that's below, and I teach you on a daily basis with tips and tools to enhance your health, and you will be a part of a like-minded group to support you on your journey, in addition to truly taking control of your health when you are going through menopause and you feel like everything is out of control and this is just the way it has to be, and that's not the truth. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram under Accelerated Health Products and across over 100 channels under Accelerated Health Radio and TV. Please share this podcast and all of my podcasts that hit home with you, because that is how we spread the word. And the more you support me, the more I can support you. So definitely hit the subscribe button, share with a few of your family members or friends, and join us every Monday at 2 p.m. live Pacific time and Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. You can find all of the supplements on my website at sarabantahealth.com and use coupon WELCOME10 for 10% off site-wide. Thanks again for joining us here on Accelerated Health Radio, and have a great week.